and welcome to this Mark's Reviews and Tutorials video. We are going to be replacing the drive tracks on this Dolphin M400 cleaner. I'm a fan of these cleaners. They are really good. They have 4 cartridges inside them, so lots of capacity for cleaning and all the rest of it. This guy fell foul of a saltwater chlorinator. The saltwater chlorinator came on and stayed on and took the chlorine level super high, and the rubber in these drive tacks has started to perish. See, the foam parts of this roller here have disappeared. They just went all soft and spongy and then fell to pieces, and this drive track's gone all crazy and it started to fall to pieces. There's more of the drive track pieces ending up inside the cleaner than anything else. So 2 new drive tracks. Even before I order the parts, I'm actually going to pull this cover off and have a look at the bearings and running wheels. I know I need drive tracks, but I'm going to check the bearings and running wheels to see if there's any other parts required as well. So that is just Phillips head screws, and we're going to rip this cover off. Covers off, and you can see here the evidence of this rubber coming off everywhere. Look inside here on the clear bit, you can see it's all coming up onto the top there. So the rubber's clearly gone, but the chlorine went super high, and this was left in the pool while it was like that for 2 or 3 weeks. So that's why she needs to be replaced. And once you've got it all off, we can then just flex that drive track straight off and up. We just lift that up over the top, and it'll come around. If you find the new drive track is tight, you can actually soak it in some hot water to get it off. But we take that right off like that. And now the reason I'm doing this before I order the parts, because I want to check all of the other bearings, make sure that nothing is falling to pieces, that everything is running well. That's your drive wheel. That's good. That's all running nice, so that's all in good nick. So I'll turn it over to the other side as well. Then you can order your parts, and then it's just a very simple matter of reassembling. The other side, I've taken the drive track off. It's easier just to lift it off over this drive bearing here to start with. As I said, give them a spin. Make sure that what you don't want is them to be falling apart. So they will lift off. You see there's little clips there and guide markers. Just make sure when these get worn and old, the covers come out and the ball bearings start to fall to pieces. These guys are fine. I will put links in the description to all of these parts to buy a new drive track, to buy new bearings if you need them, the wall climbing rubbers here, the little rings. So in order to get the wheels off, you can actually see it here. See how that is clipped into place. So you can just pull that around. When the drive track is off, you can then just clip that out, top and bottom, and they'll come out. And then you can stretch the new rollers. They go into these grooves here. Now again, you will have to soak them in water to get them a little bit soft and supple, and then they'll come over the top, no problem. Again, you can pull this drive train out if need be. So we've had some parts turn up for this cleaner. I will put links in the description for where you can get parts for yours. The drive tracks here have come. Looking for a part number for you. There you go. And then there's the drive rings, they're going to go onto there. And this one's also getting a set of filters. So we'll just take the sides back off this and get these parts on. The drive track comes down around the top and around here, around right across the bottom and back on. I'll put him on and then show you how. We're going to do the rings first. Because the drive tracks are part of this assembly. So we pull that forward and out like that on the top and on the bottom, and then put the rings on. So the drive wheel here should just click out and off. But if you find it's a bit tight, you can just put a screwdriver in the back there very gently and just plop it forward. The same on that side. These two are both a bit tight, and you see there, that's out. And once you've got the drive wheel out, then it's just a matter of stretching the foams over the top of this, and then putting it straight back on, and then putting the drive tracks onto the side. Are moist and supple, don't do them dry and hard, and then just work them and stretch them down over the top, over the next section, and then when you pull them into place, just make sure that all these little rubber bits here on this side and that side are sticking out, and that's in place, ready to go, brand new. And this one, just work it down side by side. And yeah, I'm gonna do this with 2 hands because you've got to be careful with it, making sure you don't stretch it too hard. Just stretch it over and into that slot right there. Once they're both on, we then put this back in place, making sure that this little centerpiece here lines up either side of those separators. And then once that is in place, just holding the end piece here, push it up, click it in place, and this side gets into the right spot, click, in place. That is now ready for the wheel. So do the same for the other side, and then we'll put the drive track. The way I found to get the drive track on is you put it on around the bottom wheels first, because there's quite an edge here to get it over. If you try and drive it right through the drive track first and then stretch it over, it's really tight. But if you get it on properly into these first, and then stick it onto this drive track, then you're just pulling this down, and it's just a whole lot easier. It goes in like that, and then we'll just, as you can see, stretch the other one. I think I could even do it one-handed. No, it's going to take 2 hands, but it's going to go on. Yeah, so I just popped it over. It just took 2 hands to pull it down. Then we just slide that down. As you can see, that now drops in. And make sure that all your bearings are sitting down and square. Give it a bit of a turn, make sure everything's in the tracks. And then this side is good to go. We screw the cover back on, and she's good to go. Get these slots in place, and they'll click in place, and the top clicks in place, and then he's all good. And then it's just a matter of putting the screws back in, and again the same on the other side. Put the track in. Definitely would recommend the way I said, around the wheels, over the top, then pop one side and the other side underneath the runners here, and you'll have it back. Really not a difficult job at all. Did a bit of strength in the fingers, but not a difficult job at all. If you find it really hard to get the timing, what do they call it, timing track on, then just stick it in a bucket of hot water and let it go supple, and then it'll go on much easier. This is all together, and you may have to just gently get a screwdriver under just to lever that, just to get these over the edge. Make sure everything's sitting down. They've got little lugs under them down here, so make sure they're sitting square and down. This has got the little metal drive thing inside, so make sure that's all in place. As long as everything's flat, basically the cover over here is your test. When it goes on and goes flat, everything's going to work. See if we give that a spin. That's all working great. So that's ready for the cover and ready to go back into the pool. Foam floats, they'll only go in one way. The slot on the slot there goes in like that, and you got to line your slot up like that, and you see it won't go in the other side because it's got the high spot here and the low spot, so you can't really get those wrong. That goes on. There you go. Back in each end. And now all that remains is to put in the new cartridges. This was supplied just with what they call the autumn cartridges, or the silks. They don't catch dust and fine things, they just catch the leaves and bigger things. But it's not enough. This pool's in a particularly dusty situation, so it needs the paper cartridges. So we'll just switch those out, same way, give those a twist, click them out, and take the silks out, and put the new cartridges exactly straight back in. I'll give that a hose out and clean out, and then she's ready to go back in the pool. One's out, nice new guys in. This is now going to filter dust as well, make the unit so much better. Slot that back in, just make sure you got the slot to the slot on the bottom of the cartridge. That closes. So lining up the slot on the bottom with the slot down there, so that goes that way, in, down, closes. She is ready to go back in the customer's pool. It's back in and running, doing the job. There we go. He's back in and running, and as you can see, vacuuming and doing a great job.